Empaths and narcissists, why are they so drawn to each other? Why do so many of us enter these cycles of interacting with others that have this energetic misalignment, but yet are also somehow attracted like magnets? In this video, I'll be going over 5 key points of what to look for and what to understand between these relationship dynamics. So the first point is inherently, an empath's need is to heal, to understand, to move through, release, alchemize, all of these different components. We're highly sensitive people, and we're very aware of what's going on and require that safety, that grounding and stability in order to function from a high energy state and not feel drained and depleted and discouraged. Narcissists, on the other hand, require a constant need for validation, require those energy resources, but they come from external sources. Empaths source their energy from within, from altruistic behavior, from self-reflection and self-empowerment, and narcissists plug into an empath like a power bank and pull that energy that the empath works to grow and expand inside themselves and takes it for themselves. Instead of taking notes and embodying the similar healthful aspects that an empath holds, a narcissist will see all the good parts and take them for themselves. Empaths also love supporting other people and fixing problems and getting back to that grounded space, and narcissists love to take. So from that empath's need to support because they can see and feel and understand other people's situations, that's a perfect storm for a narcissist. They're craving that validation. They're craving that support that they're not giving to themselves. And in turn, they'll recharge themselves with your energy. Key point 2, why narcissists seek empaths as an energy source. Part of this I've already kind of discussed, but a big part of this is where we source our energy. Empaths need time to recharge, even if you're extroverted. That highly sensitivity causes you to pick up on different emotions and interactions throughout the day that can kind of stick to you. And a narcissist can do that to you as well. But what they can also do is feel your effort and your grounding presence in your work and the energy that you're bringing to the world. And they will try and take some of this on instead of sourcing their own. It's as if, for example, an empath runs on solar power, runs on natural energy sources that take time and rest in order to recharge back up, where a narcissist works more like shore power, where they'll plug themselves in, they'll power up, and they'll carry on. And that's not a self-sustaining practice. There's no way for them to recharge themselves without plugging into something else. Point 3. Are key signs that you're stuck in an empathic narcissistic dynamic. Some big red flags for this are if you are gaslit, if you are guilted, if you are manipulated, if when you try and set certain boundaries, they're broken or bent, or you're trying to create space for something or make time for yourself and it's not being respected or understood. Whether they really want you to go to an event so they don't have to go alone, whether they're going through some sort of crisis and want your time and attention because they can't self-regulate, whether you're just trying to create room and time for the things that fill you up and instead they're trying to deplete you more. Looking out for these key signs in any relationship you have, that could be familial, professional, intimate, romantic, platonic, any of these dynamics can have these pieces applied. I have had to get rid of friends and family members in my life and either remove them or draw really strict boundaries because I realized that people needed more live time to fill their cup, and not everyone is deserving and worthy of that. Just because I do a lot of work to make sure that I am grounded and I am supporting myself and becoming my own best friend doesn't mean someone can leech that energy off of me. Doesn't mean that they are entitled to and deserve that goodness that I'm working towards every single day. Everyone is responsible for their own energy. And the people that aren't putting in the work to understand that they can be their own best friend, they can be their biggest cheerleader, they can be the support that they require, and ultimately the best source of validation and support comes from within. When you don't have to rely on external resources in order to keep you going, you're limitless. And when a narcissist can see an empath constantly refilling their cup, and it breaks out of that taking and that leeching type of quality of a narcissist, it can really rock the boat. But through paying attention to the gaslighting, the manipulating, and the guilting, and listening to your gut and the resonance of what your body is trying to explain to you with how your energy is being worked and affected by other people, that's a huge way to see how that dynamic has been playing out for you. Part 4 is the importance of boundaries. Whether you say, I'm sorry, I'm already booked, whether I'm sorry, I don't have time for that right now or this week, or I wish you the best, but I just don't have the capacity right now. Whatever excuse you need to make will get easier. And the more you draw these boundaries, the more comfortable you'll get and the less you'll feel the need to lie around it. When I first started drawing boundaries, I would say, sorry, I'm busy, or I'm booked, or things like that. So it seemed like I was genuinely unavailable, when in reality, I was making time to rest, to fill my own cup, to do things that bring me joy. And after setting multiple boundaries, I've been able to make it more honest, also without over-explaining myself. When you say no to someone, you don't need to explain yourself. That is a people pleaser quality out of guilt that is causing you to think that you owe that to someone, that they're entitled to that thing. And when I used to say, oh, sorry, I'm already busy, now I just say I'm unavailable. And that can mean anything. And I think through practicing over and over again, setting those boundaries, it builds that confidence in yourself. You're telling your subconscious that you are worth the peace and the rest and the joy that you can give yourself, especially when you're separating yourself from an energy that feels misaligned. So the 5th point here is breaking the cycle, identifying patterns, and practicing self-love. Awareness is 90% of what it takes to move through these types of aspects. Personally, I journal for 30 minutes every single morning. I fill 3 blank pages in a notebook with whatever comes to mind. Sometimes it's my goals, sometimes it's my dreams, sometimes it's how I'm feeling. And a really big practice I've been doing is understanding how people make me feel. Bringing awareness and reflecting on things afterwards will then allow you to kind of tap into it more presently. The second something hits paper and comes out of your brain into your hand onto something physical, the more you can kind of work with it. And it's really fascinating and really powerful to allow yourself that type of reflection. When you realize you struggle setting boundaries with certain people, or you do realize that you're being kind of twisted and manipulated into going along with someone else's agenda, you can sit there and peel back the layers and shadow work and see, what is it about me that is allowing this to happen? What is it about me that is allowing this into my energy? Because as within, so without, the things that we have going on inside of us are being manifested in our physical reality. And if you don't think you're worthy of something, or you think that your self-respect or your worthiness or some other aspects like that just aren't as important, then you stop prioritizing yourself and you start prioritizing other people. And at least personally, when I used to struggle with boundaries, I realized I was telling myself and my subconscious that my needs don't matter. My needs aren't valid. And that was a big light bulb moment for me when I sat there and I pieced together that, wow, by breaking my own boundaries, by not listening to my gut and my energy and my own wants, I'm telling myself they're not valid and worthy, and that's not fair. Radical compassion and self-love moving through these things is super important. It's okay to get frustrated. It's okay to get angry and to be sad and feel hurt, but there's no need to beat yourself up for these things. By striving towards finding that awareness and by self-reflecting, you are doing the work it takes to honor yourself, understand yourself, and improve your life. And that's huge. That is love. by offering yourself patience when you're noticing these things, by offering yourself compassion as you're trying to set these new boundaries and these new frameworks, you're really able to expand what you're allowing others to treat you as, but what you allow yourself too. I noticed when I started to really take the reins on the voice in my head, how patient I was with myself, the amount of love and encouragement and compassion I can offer myself, the more I was able to realize which people in my reality had a negative voice in their head, were not being their own best friend. And this little shift in tone of catching myself when I start to run negative and judgmental and harsh to myself, and shifting over into that compassion, that love, that patience, and that grace, it has radically changed the way I move through the world and the types of energies that I'm willing to allow into my space. Because if I am practicing radical love and compassion and gratitude, I'm going to notice more sharply the energies that come into my field that are not acting from that space. And by shifting that in yourself, you're able to set up a keener radar system for the people that you're interacting with. So if any of this sounds familiar, you are not alone. I would love to hear any of your stories, and even if you're ready to start breaking out of these cycles, comment below, like, subscribe, share, whatever this video calls you to do. I'm just really happy it found you.